Alright, so we are live here at the fantastic Max Speed karting facility. Now, we're going to be here in a couple of weeks with the Stock I-4 class for the oval feature. You know, we're going to have to tear down all this karting stuff and put on a little dirt track. That's going to be a fun deal. Obviously, that's not what we're here for. We're here to see probably one of the most fantastic racing events on the Roblox platform. That is none other than the Spooky Night Grand Prix. On track loads of no other places. One of the most, I wouldn't say iconic, but very much so one of the most significant racetracks to SLC history. Now, behind those curtains, as you can see, is most likely a surprise. You might see some familiar things. You might see something new. There's going to be a couple new things. Some old faces coming back. And a bunch of other things. There's something over here. So let me put the stream up. And once the stream is up, I'm going to want you guys out there that are helping make this possible to put the link up as soon as possible. So let me put it up. If you look in SLCORA, you can see the stream link. I'm going to put it back again. And we are also going to put this in SLCORA and a couple other places. If you guys can put those in your server, please do the ping. This is the only announcement we need to make. Good after this one. Alright, so that being said, everything is ready. We are just a few moments from pulling the curtains up. So that being said, we're going to head over here and let's get on with it. If we could let those curtains up, please. There it is. Now, we'll get to what's on, but we're going to go from the schedule and explain a little bit about the cars as we go along. So, as we know, this is a bit of an unorthodox time for Halloween, being on a Thursday. However, no shame in that, because this Thursday, we will, in fact, be racing the SLCORA Midgets. It is done there for Thursday Night Thunder at 7 p.m. USPST. It's going to be late at night. People are probably going to be trick-or-treating at my home. I know most of you guys are too old to trick-or-treat. Or should be. So come on by for the 40-lap midget feature. We might put a high payout. We're still looking for funds, and we'll get to that in a bit if you guys want to help. There will be a donations tab that you also use as a sponsor. You could be a paid sponsor for the event. Now, this is an SLCORA Midget, a 4-cylinder powered miniature sprint car. It is basically half the cylinders, half the size, but nowhere short of being anywhere close to as mean, because it is a very, very rapid little machine, this thing. With 350 horsepower, barely weighing over 1,000 pounds. It's a bit hairy. That's going to be the starting event for Spooky Night Grand Prix, the only Halloween race this Thursday at 7 p.m. USPST for 40 laps on the Track Loans Asphalt Oval. Up next, we got the legendary Jackson Cook 38 machine. This is the Jackson Cook Outlaw Elite Model Tour. They are back for another non-points race. If you guys remember, that was the prequel to the season. Well, this one, we're going to the last quarter of the season in Jackson Cook Outlaw Late Model Tour. They'll be racing later on Friday also on Owasso Speedway, so if you guys would like to see that, it's a conflicting event, but that's okay. However, they will be on track loans at 1 p.m. USPST. They're going to be doing, I believe, a 50-lap feature, because it is a non-points, mostly payout race. We're going to do the funding as soon as he gets his funding through. We might put quite a bit of Robux to it. So, make sure you guys come to that. It will be a fun deal. Immediately afterwards, at 3 p.m. USPST, we got a doubleheader. You see that number 3. You see the 12R Marlboro-style Mazda Miata DGS machine. That is the AAC, or ASC, All-American Stock Car Championship ROX Mod. To the other side is a Stock I-4 car. We're going to be doing another one of those double headers, and for the first time since the last running of track, actually it was Berlin Raceway, the week after Patriot Grand Prix, we'll be running the stock I4s on asphalt again. It's going to be the last pavement race until most likely either Saga Speedway or, if we can, we'll try to see if we can squeeze one out of Franklin County. The stock I4s are an entry-level class open to all. As long as you can show up to practice, show that you're basically to some degree of competence, you could race those. Pretty much the same thing with the FOTS bodies, so though they are a pretty hard car to drive, stock I4s are incredibly easy, meaning front wheel drive. Just gotta hold the throttle down, and you can save yourself. So make sure to check those both out. They are at 3 p.m. PST. Again, stock I4s will be the first feature, and immediately follows with the FOTS body here. The stock I4 is going to be a 25-lap feature. All-American stock car will be a 30-lap feature. So that totals out to 55 laps. At 5 p.m., we got the first of the Formula Micro doubleheaders. So we'll be going back on the road course for yet another race in the 12 machine. I'll probably be there. I'm probably not going to be racing. You might see a DGS driver in this thing. Now, one thing to note, it's been taking quite a few big updates using features off of the Super Indies ever since they were also updated. So this thing has been quite extensively modified. They are good. We got a great setup on them, and I think it's going to be up for a fantastic race. It'll be 50 laps at 5 p.m. PST on the Friday. Short Track Friday. Now, we got one more feature on Short Track Friday, and it's, of course, the hallmark of it all, the ROX Mod feature. Probably one of the most significant features of Supercar Grand Prix is the ROX Mod road course feature, oval feature. It's one that some drivers have absolutely strived to win, come up on top. Hopefully we'll see you guys there at 7 p.m. PST for the 100-lap closing feature of Short Track Friday. Now after that, we're going to be going onto a open practice. Now mind you, the ROX Mods are a pretty great class. We'll get to them in a second because there's more to explain with them. The next class on Saturday morning, I believe this is 6 a.m. This is Race for the Cup RFTC. So we're going to pass over that to none other than JD Wagons. So we'll let you take over from here.
Okay, hello everybody. This is me, the owner of RFTC, and after a few months of inactivity in terms of SLC and SNGP, we're back again. And as you can see, this is one of the confirmed teams for the SNGP this year, Centerpoint United. Marlboro-based livery. And there isn't much to it. It is the same as last time, but we'll see how things play out in the GT race. That's all.
All right, well, I'll add on a little bit. RFTCs, these are the ones based on the IMRP format. We have seen these types of cars race before. They have always put up a pretty darn good show. Again, it's going to run 6 a.m. in the morning. As far as I know, that could be due for some scheduling changes. Show there, I think it'll probably be a 60-lap race. That's about an hour, a little bit under, but with cautions, that's definitely over an hour. So I think it's going to be a pretty good show with these cars. It's a must-go race. Up next, we have the Midgets car. Now, this is Dale Ross's. I probably should have chose a spooky one, but that's okay. We're going to have Ayers take this one over, but this will be at 10 a.m. for a 15-lap feature. So, Ayers, we'll give you it. Is Ayers here?
Sorry, it's just that every time I open my or turn on the phone again, it decides to prompt me to do an emergency call to myself, and I kind of have to deal with closing that. But like, yeah, I had to lock myself in another room because everyone's around the computer, so I won't be able to move. But like, this is MITS, the Miata International Touring Series. It's pretty swell. It's an entry-level series that anyone can enter. You don't necessarily need a car. There's like a a roster of 6 rentals available every race. The series consists of both first-gen MX-5s and second-gen MX-5s, both dead equal in terms of performance. There's actually no discrepancies. They're exactly the same, so it doesn't matter whichever one you choose. No, none of them. Neither one has more power than the other. The VOP is perfect because they're literally the exact same. That's something I can be proud of. The cars are like decently simple to drive. I tried my best to make them as beginner friendly as possible. There's not a lot of hill slidiness. They're a little bit understeery, but you just have to kind of like try to control it a little bit. They're decently easy cars, and they make for fun racing when there's a lot of people racing with each other. And Loans has proven that it can make for fun stuff, since it's very it's not necessarily dynamic, but the turns are diverse. There's like many types of turns crammed into a very, very short lap, so it for sure appears to be very interesting with these cars. Was it Patriot? Yeah, no. Last year's Patriot had like 13 people. That was a pretty fun race. Yeah, like I don't really know what more I can yap about it. Fun series, fun cars, very entry level. As of right now, you don't need to take a test to get in. You can just like get in and drive a rental. Of course, you have to be like good enough to kind of keep pace with everyone else, but that's like expected. But like, yeah, they're fun. Fun series, fun entry level. No major modifications. It's just an aero kit, engine upgrades, and tires. The good old way, like everything should be.
In a lot of aspects, it is a grassroots level race car, again, open to pretty much anyone to get into. These are the only class the entire weekend, as far as I know. Maybe the RFTC cars and the TD cars that have Touge development. That have auto flip. I don't know what got into me there, but they are a fun class. We saw them over at Utah. Now that one was cut a little bit short. This one has over about twice the amount of laps as Utah does, so we'll have a lot more shots to have good racing. Up next is, of course, AASC's GTI car. I'll handle this one. It's a pretty fun car. AASC had a good shot of the podium at the Utah Motorsports campus today. I guess we flew it over here to get it on display. But this is another one of those classes. It's actually a pretty technical class. You got to do refueling. You got to get pretty much everything you need, tires and such. So strategy, it's about where strategy starts to come in. I mean, you'll see that in the RFTC class. So if you like RFTC, you will definitely like the GTI series. And if you like the GTI series, you will definitely love RFTC. These two go hand in hand. They're GT3 cars, you can't go wrong with that. This will be racing at 12 p.m., so 2 hours after the 15-lap mid-car race. These will be going for 50 laps, or 45. I think 50 laps. So expect probably at least one refuel or tire change. Now, you saw earlier when we were featuring the Formula Micro, we got another one. This is the legendary Twin Turbo V6, who held an absolutely dominant performance in the weekend so far. The 32 Maple Leaf car might come up here. Now, this is the road course race for the Formula Micros. We got two. First one's on the 1/3 mile dirt oval, asphalt oval. And we're going to go on to the 1.3 mile road course on Saturday evening at 5 p.m. ESPST. Again, these cars are quite a handful, but they're quite fun. You'll definitely see them tomorrow at Utah Motorsports Campus at 10 a.m. So you could actually race that one tomorrow if you want, see what they feel like, and give them a try. They, like the Mid's car, are entry level, although they're slightly higher level, but not by much. Pretty much as long as you're willing to drive, you could drive these things. Now, these things also do a handful of different classes, so they do quite a bit. Again, another hallmark of the entire event is the ROX Mod road course feature. Again, this one's been running for years now. It used to be the prequel to SNGP. That's how it was ran originally in 2021. However, this, since 2022, has been a major event. And like the road course race, this is another one of those races you want to win. However, unlike the road course race, it is tough. Track loans in the ROX Mods is by far one of the most toughest road courses. It's not a race of pure pace. It is a race of survival. It is dangerous. It is sketchy. You might see flips. We've seen flips and people getting over barriers every single time we've raced the ROX Mods here. So it's a pretty darn tough race, and it ain't for the weak. So if you want to see a lot of action, you want to give it a shot, go for it. It's going to be a tough one. Now, between those two races, between the ROX Mod race and the OOF Motorsports BMCR series race, there is a time change. So remember that. The races will be moved an hour later than you think they are if you do not live in the United States or you have not actively gone through a time change on the same weekend. So we go from Universal or UTC 7 or -7 to UTC -8, I believe. We'll do a countdown of hours. Don't worry. And it's not going to be too big of a deal. But anyways, on to the last day. So that was Supercar Saturday now complete. We have Supercar Sunday. Now we start off with not exactly the most super of cars, but still a fantastic series. I've been racing it. I will probably race this one. This is the... I don't know what the team is. It probably says literally right in front of my face. Probably Cava Logistics or something like that. This is the car that Shuffle recommended to me. So he's not here, but I'll read out what he told me to read. So we're going to read what I've been told to read by the league owner of OOF Motorsports. Alright. OOF Motorsports BMCC, an entry-level series of BMW touring-based cars. SNGP will mark their halfway point of the season. With plenty of seats available, why not test this magnificent car around track loans for the Supercar Grand Prix? Now, again, this is a front-wheel drive class, so these cars are front-wheel drive. They also have a handbrake. They are the only front-wheel drive class on the road course. The only front-wheel drive class on the oval is stock i4. These are a lot like stock i4. They're not the quickest, but my golly, they make a great race. Now, they got tire wear, they got fuel, so that's also a big factor in this. So you're going to have to worry about that too. That being said, that will be at 6 a.m. most likely, unless Shuffle reschedules it. Again, after the time change. Remember, everything today on Sunday has a time change on December 3rd. It will probably... It's going to have 2 laps. It's going to have a sprint race and then a full race. It's a little bit longer. That's going to be in the morning. At 10 a.m., guess who's back? We haven't seen this one in an entire year, but it's been a long wait. People are happy to see it back. It is the Group C Showcase. Now, of course, none other would be worthy than the absolutely legendary, absolutely iconic Gasly 787B. It is a legendary Le Mans car, but there's going to be a lot of other historic GTP and Group C prototypes that will be around. Not only will there be historic cars racing, some of the best racers around that we can find will get invited. If you think you're worthy, you can DM me. I will test you. These cars are manual. They are hard. I don't know if they're the hardest cars to drive, but they are most certainly hard because they have no traction control, a crap ton of power. They're a prototype that's in the 80s and 90s. There's not a lot of easiness about driving this. You gotta operate a manual. And there's a bunch of other iconic cars like the Mercedes C11, the Nissan GTPs. You also see the Peugeot, I believe 905, if I could recall correctly. I'm not exactly the right guy to call out sports car racing. I don't really know it the best. I do know quite a bit. We're going to see if we have, and we do not have who I think. So unfortunately we don't have the car creator himself, Nikolaus. to help explain because he knows more about this than I do. But it is going to be a show. You're going to hear the most glorious V10s, V12s, V8s, 4-rotors, you name it. It'll be there, and it'll be the best drivers on road racing. Now up next is the fastest car ever made on Roblox. Not quite yet, but it is the development of it. Now, the next class at 12, so we're going to go back 10 a.m. for a 20-lap race in the Group C's. At 12 on Sunday, we are going to be doing the time attack. Now, this is Evan Varney, a Jegs Tour late model driver. He's decided to do road racing as a hobby. He actually built together the fastest freaking possible car I think ever anywhere in Roblox. It's insane. That car was called the TRM, the Rule Maker, quite literally was its nickname. It was so unbelievably fast that whereas, say, the RFTC cars do track loans in 55 seconds, the Rule Maker could do it in 11 to 12. Their goal is to eventually break 10, although right now this is a development period for their new car, which is supposed to be human operated, because Evan Varney is now going for the human record. There's a bit of a development period. His car is running in the unlimited class. He's just going for the human record. Because Nicholas, if you guys were there for Patriot Grand Prix, you would have seen him do it, but he flew up into the atmosphere and died in his efforts to break the record. And it worked. It was a hell of a spectacle. Now that's going to start at 12. We'll start off with the slower cars, like the IRL cars. There's cars for pretty much everyone. It's a very casual event. As long as you know how to develop cars, you can enter one in. We rate cars by their general pace. We don't really have a lot of standards. You just got to make a car. You have a lot of liberty, a lot of freedom to make whatever you want, as long as it's appropriate and as long as it's not incredibly laggy, it can race. The slow cars start off, and then when there's 15 minutes to go, we get the limited maximum cars, which is the 1-to-1 power-to-weight ratio cars out. Those guys are also going for the human record, because their cars are actually a bit more drivable than what I believe the car that Evan Varney is entering in the unlimited class, because he actually uses a self-driving system. So they'll be allowed to have 15 minutes to get driving, whereas Evan only has 5 to work with. So that's going to be pretty interesting. Again, other cars will be allowed, you know, the Grand Touring. You could enter real cars, so that was loud. I thought I turned the A chassis off. Let's not do that. It's okay. I don't know why, because I probably inserted it last minute. So anyways, that starts at 12, ends at 1, and then from 1, we have an hour-long practice period leading us to the 2 p.m. Super Indy feature. Super Indy is the fastest class in SLC, minus time attack, the fastest racing class. These things are freaking unbelievably fast. They're also pretty competitive, and they pretty much mismatch every single feature. You got more pits strategy than the GTIs. You got more raw pace than the ROX Mods. You got to be good at everything if you want to be good in these. And that's why Twin is such a big success. That Maple Leaf 32 also featuring here. Twin has won about every single race he's ever entered, minus Milwaukee when I beat him that time. That was awesome. So this theme is going to be pretty darn cool to watch. It's the first road course since the new... well, tomorrow will be the first road course. So they also race tomorrow at 2 p.m. These scenes will be off for a 60-lap feature. This is the shortest race they're doing, but it's still going to be pretty long by SNGP standards. It'll be about 45-50 minutes of racing. And it'll be a pretty good show. I don't know how many people are going to show up to it, but it's definitely worth going. It's the only points race that SLC is doing on Sunday. So make sure to go to that one. Now, I appreciate Jen for his patience. We went from an IndyCar style race car to an F1 car. We're going to let Jen explain this. This is Touge development. Well, I'll let Jen explain himself.
I'm playing Minecraft. Give me a second. Alright, Hello, guys. This is TD, and if you guys have been on the, if you guys are informed about any other events like Patriot GP and the last year's SNGP, we're basically the guys who bring in their lab experiments and then like slap it on track loans. So we started off with Formula One cars. Someone's microphones are echoing. That's you, Robo. All right, so this year we've stepped it up a notch. We have gone from the 312T back in the 60s to this big boy over here, the MCL, the Formula One car that was used in 2022, but I've tuned it for this year's 2024 MCL 60. So it's close enough, but right now it's running the 2024 car setup. Don't ask me how I got the numbers or the figures for it. It's completely confidential. As you can see, this thing had sounds. It has far sounds and close sounds. So if you're just by the sidelines in the paddock, you're gonna hear this thing zip by. Although V6s don't sound as close to V10s, I can assure you these sound as good as it gets. Now, for the cool knickknacks and features, this does have working DRS, but unfortunately, since track loans is way too small, we disabled it. We also have working ERS systems. Don't ask me how I got the figures for that either, but it does have working ERS. It also has that wheel blur. We have every single thing that you can think of. The wheel works. There's driving models that actually turn. You know, it's pretty amazing. It's gonna be really cool to see this thing zip around the track. However, this thing does have wheel damage. So if you suck at driving and you hit a wall, you're gonna crash and you can't fix the car. So you're gonna have to pit it in. So don't crash. Yeah. So now let me get this microphone back to normal. There we go. And enough of this car. I want to talk more about, TD for the new person, for the new people who haven't been around in SLC for long enough. We are a Roblox car community, not a racing community, but we are a car community. What's RCC or a car community, you might ask? It's a bunch of people who have too much time on their hands and make their own cars and drive them in maps. And this is where we pride ourselves into. We love making our own cars. We love making, a lot of cool features, making gauges work, make everything realistic as possible. So this thing is as good as it gets. I will say you can spin this out pretty easily. Do not be fooled by its modernness. It's still very hard, especially with the battery on. But I feel like this is the culmination of what the RCC has gone through. We've always wanted to strive for innovation and tried to make cars as cool as possible. So here we are. This is my project. This is TD's pride and joy. Well, not really. It's my car, but this is what we love doing. We love making amazing vehicles. We love making them work. Ground effect is also a thing in this thing. I forgot to mention that. But hopefully this year's SNGP is gonna kick off and end on a really cool note on these ones. First come, first serve, and that's about it. Thanks, Robo.
So Target Development's going to be the closing feature of the weekend again on Sunday, November 3rd. Again, with the time change, keep that one aware. It's going to be pretty hard, I think, but it's going to be the closing feature. It's probably going to be keeping us up all night. We'll see how it goes. I'm down, though. This thing is going to be pretty cool to watch. So, we pretty much start the race with the most grassroots level racing, and we slowly move up and up and up to an F1 car. So that's a pretty crazy way for the weekend to work itself out. We'd like to thank you guys for tuning in and watching. It's been a pretty fun day to go. Well, let's get on with it. Again, tomorrow in SLC, we got 2 events coming up. The Formula Micros at 12 for an 8-lap feature on the gigantic Utah Motorsports campus. And then at 2 p.m. a 30-lap feature with the Super Indies, again on Utah Motorsports Campus. That is the last couple set of races before the weekend starts. So best of luck. Have a great time. Have a great evening. Just be aware of the time change on Sunday. It's annoying, but it's necessary. So thank you guys for tuning in. We'll be back in a bit. So, but also, we offer a couple other things. We'd like to also say thank you to RRC 2025. Hopefully, they get their things going through, and best of luck with them. There's a couple things you guys can do if you guys want to help fund this event. It's going to be an expensive one to fund. You can buy sponsor boards, small ones for 150, big ones for, or sorry, small ones for 75, big ones for 150. If you want a suite, there's a couple of empty spaces on the pit buildings. You can rent those out for the weekend for 500 Robux. You'll be given a template of the building to work with. It'll pretty much just be the room you bought, and you can customize it as long as it's within reason. So that will be 500 Robux. So if you guys are interested in that, let me know. We gotta fund this event somehow. It's not, it ain't free, unfortunately. So it's gonna be a pretty big weekend up ahead of us. We still got more coming up tomorrow, as I already said. So thank you guys for tuning in. Till next time, it's been fun. But yeah, that's gonna be it. So thank you guys.